Alright, tips and hacks to make macOS less terrible. And if you're wondering what this image is, well, this is to to combat the people who go, "Oh, if you think macOS is so terrible, why don't you use Linux or Windows?" Because I'm not a fucking idiot, that's why. Let's fix this image, shall we? There we go. That's a little bit more accurate. macOS pisses me off to no end, but it is better than all the alternatives. And yeah, let's talk about how to make it just a little bit less painful. Alright, first up on the list, we have to talk about Karabiner Elements. This is actually a game changer. Now, one thing that really sucks about typing in general, about keyboards in general, okay, is you can be typing, right? And if you mess up a letter and you want to go back one, you have to move your hand off of the main row and put it on an arrow key. Or you have to reach for the mouse and then put your hand back on the home row. And it's not efficient at all. It's actually fucking terrible. So here's what I mean. Basically, we'll be typing, right? Okay, we'll say const your mom equals how would we do this? Gay true. Okay, so basically, we can just type that out, right? Now, the thing is, the way I have this wired up with Karabiner Elements is, where is it? Okay, so what we're doing is we're making it so that when I press the right command button, which is right here, and it feels a little weird at first, but you're going to use it with your thumb, then you can use these keys, these four keys, H, J, K, and L, like you would in Vim, and what you're going to do is use that as the arrow keys. So the same way you move around in Vim, you can do that just with the keyboard. Maybe I can show you. Ugh. See that? So my fingers are still on the home row, and that means I can still type extremely easy. I don't have to move my hand back to the home row, but I have full control. Okay? And the thing with using Vim, yeah, it's cool to code in Vim and whatever, and it might be slightly faster, but you have to go from using Vim controls on your code editor to using regular arrow keys and shit like that in your browser or wherever you type. Everywhere else you type does not have Vim, right? Even if like you make your browser have Vimari or Vim Chrome whatever, you're still gonna have to use regular arrow keys in your email app. But with this solution, you can just basically commit this to muscle memory, and now it's actually like way easier. Like you'll realize you can use the arrow keys so much more because moving from this line up to this line using the arrows is so much easier than having to do it with the mouse. The mouse is way less accurate, right? Because it's continuous, whereas the arrow key is definite. And then let's talk about. All right. So I have an extremely good hack that we can use, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save that for later because now let's move on to our next hack, which is Raycast. And I know you're watching this and you've clicked on 10 of these videos and you go, "Oh, Raycast is gay, dude. Everyone already knows about Raycast, dude." Well, I have news for you because shut the fuck up, alright? And basically, the way Raycast works is it's Spotlight search, right? If you don't use Spotlight, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. You're a loser. But if you don't, seriously, you have to get in the habit. You just do Command Space anywhere, and you can open an app extremely quickly. Now, oh, I forgot it's called Mail. But that's just Spotlight, alright? There's no point in getting Raycast if you're gonna do that. Now, here is where it gets useful. Let's come back to our Pixelmator Pro here. And let's go on over to this image of a nice young boy. This boy is actually about to go under transgender surgery, okay? And I'm going to show you how we do that. We'll go up to Tools, and we'll go Retouch, and we'll go Repair. I guess I can just hit R. But, you know what? I use Retouch like once in a blue moon. I don't remember the keyboard shortcut for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command H, and I'm going to type in Repair, and hit Enter. And that selects this tool for me. And now we can make those accommodations and perfect. Wow. Let's actually get rid of some of this stuff too. I think that definitely does not help with the with the femininity there. Oh, so much better. So the way we do that is we have this tool in Raycast called search menu items, okay? And what we're doing is we've mapped it. If I hit command comma, that opens the settings. Oh, I'm retarded. All right, we'll just go, what was it called? Search menu items. And what this does is it allows us to add a hotkey to any command within Raycast. So I wired it to option H. And so now, whenever I don't know how to do something in an app, instead of like searching up here or going to the help and going, repair, and then I have to like go back and I have to like find it again. And it's such a pain in the ass, dude. I want to just, but I don't, because I just do this and I just go repair and I hit enter and it's done. It's actually so much easier than the other way. All right, now let's move on to the Messages app. This is one of the most frustrating apps, I would say, because you can't use like keyboard shortcuts. You could use texts and stuff, which is, fine. But let's say I want to send an emoji to this guy. And I know you probably know how to send emojis on a Mac. You hit this little globe icon here and you hit it twice. Oh, I forgot, because I'm connected to my keyboard. That's another benefit. Oh, that's sick. That's part of Karabiner Elements. You can make it so that when, alright, I forget how it works, but you can basically make it so that when there's an external keyboard connected, it deactivates the default built-in keyboard. So I can put my mechanical keyboard on the regular keyboard to use it when I'm like not in front of a screen. And it's actually really nice. Once you start using a mechanical keyboard, this is the Logi MX mechanical, something like that. Short, without the stupid fucking number pad that gets in the way. Yeah, once you get used to a mechanical keyboard, the macOS keyboard actually kind of feels like shit. But back to what we were saying, I'm gonna disconnect this keyboard so I can show you what I mean. So if we hit this globe icon twice, or I guess once, it'll pop up this menu, and then we can search. And let's just do something like, oh, I just connected my keyboard, but yeah, we'll do something like excited. And again, I'm using those keyboard shortcuts to move around here. But yeah, I'll just do that. So that's one way to do it, but you have to take your hands off the home row and like find that little fucking button. It's way easier. Like if you look at something like Notion, and I'm gonna blur out my my hacks to get more watch time out of you, fucker. In Notion, you can do a colon and then you can type happy, and that'll actually choose an emoji. But you can't do that in most apps. So in Messages, you can't do that. This guy's so confused, dude. So then, what you can do instead is you can hit Option U, and that pops up our emoji picker menu. So I can do Command U or Option U, and then I can just choose that one, and then I can hit Enter. And it's so much easier than the default emoji picker. And you can use it even on a normal keyboard, because if you have an external keyboard without that little globe icon, you have to go and use that globe icon to pull up the emojis. So that's a great hack too. All right, now let's move on. I'm going to show you something cool that has to do with our colors, okay? And if we just go to, let's just go to our dashboard here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you when you're building things, when you're doing things with color, like web development or image editing, you want to be able to pick a certain color. And oftentimes, this is how I used to do it. I would screenshot it, okay? And I would grab the screenshot, I would open my image editor, I would put that in there, and then I would go to add a new shape and drag that out, and then I would choose the color dropper and pick this color, and if we click on this, boom, we have our hex code right there. That's a pain in the ass, especially if you don't have your image editor open. There's a better way to do it. Of course, with Raycast, hopefully you already knew about this, but you can just do pick color, and boom, you have a color picker right here on the screen, and you can tap it. It tells you the hex code, and it also copies it to your clipboard. That is so cherry, dude. All right, this is maybe not that related to how much macOS sucks, because I don't think any OS really has this built in, but occasionally you're going to have something copied to your clipboard, and you're going to have to copy something else, especially if you're editing text, like code maybe. So what you can do is we can copy this line, but now let's say we want to copy this line instead. What we can do is I can hit Command Shift P, and this brings up my clipboard history, and you can see this is shit I've been copying throughout this video. Like all the stuff is here. I don't want to scroll down too far, but yeah, I mean, like, this is amazing. Look at this. You can just go through all of your keyboard history, and I can have a duplicate declaration of your mom. Okay, so then the last thing with Raycast is, if we go to the settings again, that is not what I meant to do, is we can actually assign a quick access to all of our apps. So if you want to open like the messages app, I can do Option M, and wait. Oh, I forgot I assigned it to texts. Yeah, anyways. What we can do is I have it also connected to mail. So if I hit Option E, that'll open up my email. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can literally wire this shit up to do anything that you want. Just record a hotkey in order to do it. And you know, I was actually just looking through this and I saw this, start typing practice. This is pretty sick, dude. Demand is 55. Oh, you should see my nitro type, dude. I'm more like 80 or 90. Okay, and now let's go back to that last thing I was mentioning on the topic of typing, and here it is. So when you're moving around with your arrow keys, it'd be nice if, all right, let's just type something out. So let's type something out, and let's say what I want to do is I want to remove this space between some and thing. Okay. And now, what most people are going to do when they have this is they're going to spam the fuck out of the delete key until they get back there. Or, Command Z to undo, by the way. Or, they're going to pick up their mouse, pull their hand off their keyboard, go to their mouse, and then click where they need to, and then do that, and then come back here. That's extremely slow. And let me mention something else. Speed is fun. I learned this from the founders of Cursor, this code editor that I use. They focus on making coding fast, and speed is one of the biggest factors in what makes something fun. And so if we can speed up our typing, we can basically make working on a computer way more fun. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So basically, when you're typing, there's a few different modifiers that you can use to move around your text. So what I just did there is if you hold Command and Delete, you can delete an entire line, okay? So if we go down here, and by the way, I'm using Command with the arrow keys, or not the arrow keys, you know, our mapping. Command with right command and L, so that would be the right arrow key. And what that does is moves you from the back to the start of the line. We can also do up and down to go to the top of the text area. And then we can also use Option instead of Command and move one word at a time. Okay, and then, oh yeah, and by the way, in a code editor like VS Code, you can hold Option and go arrow up and down to actually move things in your code. Okay, and then, all right, so that's pretty cool. We can do Option, Command, we can move around pretty fast. We can move stuff, but when it comes to selecting things, there's actually something even better we can do, is we can go here, and then if you hold Shift, everything that you move over will be selected. So now that I've selected these 3 lines, I can move them around, and then I can also go back here. I can do Command Shift and then left arrow key to select that entire line, or you know, the other way around, right? This speeds up your workflow so much you don't have to take your hands off the home row. You can move around, you can select text, you can do everything you need to do from the home row. Yeah, basically I think this whole video, to sum it up, is keep your fucking hands on the home row. And not because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna save 10 seconds every day, you know, over the course of the day. That equates to oh shit, dude. Wait. 10 seconds times 365 divided by what would that, 60 would give us, god damn it, 3,600. That saves us an hour over the course of the year. But that's not what I give a shit about. All right, I'm about having fun. I'm about building cool shit. And the only way you can build cool shit, really, is if you enjoy the process, okay? There's lots of kind of people that talk about this, but it is absolutely true. You have to enjoy what you're doing. And an easy way to make what you're doing more enjoyable is to make it faster and easier, you know? Because if you're constantly taking your hand off the keyboard to, like, move around with your mouse, I mean, A, you feel like a fucking grandma, dude, you know? Like, you know, it's just terrible. And, it's just slow. I mean, it's annoying. But when you do everything this way, it's so much more satisfying. That about wraps up the video. Let me know which hacks you have. I know I haven't wired everything up to be perfect. I don't have shortcuts for a lot of stuff, but I do have the ones that matter. Yeah, I'll make a video on my VS Code setup pretty soon if you want, because I think there's a fair amount of stuff in VS Code that should be configured to make it less painful to use as well. But yeah, if you don't have a Mac and you're watching this, what are you doing, dude? Just buy a Mac. Buy an M1, bro. They're bulletproof. And, it's way better than fucking Windows.